union, you say power. Union.
Power.
Union.
Power.
When I say people, you say power. People.
Power.
People.
Power.
When I say community, you say power. Community.
Power.
Community.
Power.
Y'all will. But before I get into my speech, we have a honor here today from our honorable Congresswoman, Cori Bush. And I'm not going to read the whole thing because I know everybody's tired. But it just says, House of Representatives, honoring the St. Louis Coalition of Black Trade Unionists 50th anniversary. Honorable Cori Bush of Missouri in the House of Representatives, August 30th, 2023. Mr. Speaker, St. Louis and I arise to congratulate the St. Louis Metro Area Chapter Coalition of Black Trade Unionists on their 50th anniversary. And it says, for 50 years, CBTU has been the voice of black workers within the trade union movement in St. Louis by pushing organized labor to create more equitable conditions and meet the needs and aspirations of black and low-income workers. CBTU has truly been a voice for the people. St. Louis and I are forever grateful for CBTU's unwavering solidarity. CBTU is continuously leading with compassion for our entire St. Louis community in the struggle for racial equity, justice, and freedom. Congratulations on 50 years of service. Your Congresswoman loves you, Cori Bush. All right, so back to what I was doing.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna be before y'all long. First, I would like to pay respect and acknowledge that we are sitting on indigenous land. Today, I honor all the indigenous tribes who maintained this land before colonization. Next, I'd like to shout out all of the elected officials and all of our veterans in the House. Y'all give it up for our veterans. Our distinguished guests, my CWA union family, and fellow labor leaders, allies, and last but not least, my CBTU family. Let me hear y'all make some noise. I'd love to hear it. It's a pleasure and honor to stand before you as a 10-year member of a great, fearless, strong, and intentional Black-led labor organization and legacy. We are talking about over 50 years of hard fights, attack after attack, win after win, sacrifice after sacrifice. And the legacy speaks for itself. We are still here. We are still here, fighting for our families, our co-workers, our communities, and our youth. We are still fighting for human rights and dignity in the workplace, at the ballot box, in our union halls, and places where we worship, and so on. We are in a war, y'all. Though many would love to turn a blind eye, excuse me, Bishop and Reverend, but shit has been real. And like my elders used to say, shit is about to hit the fan. The great thing about being labor leaders, organizers, activists, and revolutionaries is that we have the power to change the trajectory of how this war plays out. I was tasked today to speak to the theme for tonight, and my president, Jay Ozier, he already gave a rundown of the power of the past. So let's give him another round of applause. Thank you for your leadership, Jay. And now I was tasked to bring it home with the force of the future. And I'm gonna keep it real with y'all if that's okay. I would first be remiss to talk about the future of anything without paying homage to the brave labor women and men that came before me. Many of them have joined the ancestors, some within the last 10 years that I've been a member of CBTU. And Lord knows how I miss Miss Dorothy Jones. And many other leaders who have transitioned. May they all continue to guide and keep us in this fight. And please be sure to share their memories, accomplishments, so that they are never forgotten. And with the many attacks on public education today, we know that it is our duty to keep their names alive.
All right.
Next, I would like to highlight the importance of mentorship. My CWA Local 6355 President, Natasha Pickens, she was my first mentor in this movement. I have acquired a great deal of knowledge and skill sets thanks to her. Next, Mr. Lou Moore, the President Emeritus of the St. Louis CBTU chapter. Mr. Lou saw the fire and passion in me, and he told me that I reminded him of himself when he was my age. And just a quick story of self, I started in this movement as an activist during the Ferguson uprising. I got more involved in CBTU and my union, and he made it known that CBTU needed to make room for young leaders like myself.
That's right.
I became a union steward, got elected as a trustee to the St. Louis CBTU chapter. I did the work, canvassing, union meetings, political fights, GOTV, political education, and even organized some events.
All right.
Mr. Lou and my CBTU family saw my drive and determination. And don't get me wrong, it was not easy at all. I ran for vice president and lost by 4 votes the first time. But I still remain committed to the struggle. Mr. Lou asked me to lead our chapter's Under 40 Leaders Committee and encouraged me to make it my own. And I took that and I ran with it. And this led to me becoming our regional chair and eventually our international chair of our Under 40 Leaders Committee. And organizing young union members across all 50 states and Canada, and now even some African countries.
All right.
I now stand before you as vice president of this great chapter and as an international executive council member. My other mentor and keynote speaker tonight, my international CWA president, first black president of CWA, President Claude Thomas Jr. My CBTU and CWA family, St. Louis North Labor Club, the Fight for 15 in a Union, Missouri Jobs with Justice, the International Black Freedom Alliance, the National Alliance Against Racism and Political Repression, even some elected officials, Senator May. Our CBTU Regional Director, Jeannie Hergy, and my former manager at the state, Ms. Terry Brown. I named these leaders and organizations to show that it takes a village and movement work.
That's right.
And that mentorship is essential to continue the work.
That's right.
Hell, even I have mentees now. And hopefully they'll grow into hell raisers like myself.
All right.
And this brings me to my last point, and I'm gonna take my seat. If you don't remember anything else that I said tonight, remember our youth, number one. Shout out to our CBTU youth leaders who have also been on the front line with us. The other thing is to remember is sacrifice. We must continue to make room for our youth to thrive, lead, create, and innovate. Not just giving them, us, a seat at the table to agree with you when you need a vote.
That's right. Come on now.
Have our ideas shot down constantly.
That's right.
And to be told, sit and wait your turn. This type of thinking and behavior has to end in order to truly see the force of the future.
That's right.
That's right.
Put resources behind us. And like my elders used to say, put your money where your mouth is. We need resources behind the asks and expectations of us. Power is organized people and organized money. And I learned that from a Jobs with Justice leadership training. Many of you have sacrificed so much to be here, to be where you are as leaders. We must teach our youth the importance of commitment and sacrifice. That's one thing the movement lacks right now. I learned early in the movement work that movement work is a lifetime commitment. You have to be willing to sacrifice sometimes all you have in order to get us where we need to be as a collective.
That's right.
This war is going to need soldiers to carry the work to the finish line. I always do this quick exercise, not that many in here, so it shouldn't be that hard, but to bring these points home. Everybody who is able to, please stand.
Hey.
If you are retired, please have a seat. Shout out to our retirees. If you can retire in 5 years, have a seat.
I can't retire in 5.
If you can retire in 10 years, have a seat. All right, now look around the room. These are your next generation of leaders. Thank y'all. You must continue to sacrifice to make room for us. Not control, not dictate, but truly make room. And what happens if you don't make room? It's simple. We take over the room. Most times this leads to discord and division in the movement. We are all here to do this work as a labor of love, right?
Right.
So let's keep it that way. Thank you.